It is Wednesday. I love short weeks because we get to China Watch Wednesday sooner. And Donald Trump put out a tweet on X last night. The big question to be answered is whether or not President Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United States of America gave to China in order to help it secure its freedom from a very unfriendly foreign invader. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. President Donald J. Trump. So today is China Watch Wednesday. We are joined by my co-host, Ava Chen, from the new federal state of China. Ava, I think President Trump made it really clear where he stands on this meeting that's going on in China. So I think that's where we start today. And I'm going to turn it over to you because I know you have so much insight. And you watched the parade last night, correct?
Yeah, we actually did a live on Getter for 3 hours.
Oh, which is why you don't have a voice.
Yeah, we talk too much, I guess. Excuse me. Let me clear my throat.
Yes, of course.
So we did a live, and I encourage, because we probably cut them in a short, like a clips, and then put it on Getter, and hopefully Americans and English-speaking, a Western free world will see the warning. So this is really a warning, and the world is different before the parade and after the parade, and I will explain the significance on the show today.
Okay, great. So obviously the United States was not participating in this activity, and so how important is what just took place in China? Is it just show? Like, was it all for show, or do they really now have some significant arms and weapons and things that can be used against the United States? And if these three countries that Trump mentioned, Russia, China, and North Korea, come together, do they have more force than the United States of America?
Okay, so yes. So I think a lot of, I think if not all, but a lot of Americans, intel analysts probably focused on the parade long before the parade started yesterday. And this is a big deal. This is a seismic change in geopolitical game forever. We're no longer going back to the days that before September 2nd. The reason why I'm saying that is America used to be the one superpower. And the CCP has been tagging along and say, hey, we're a developing country. We're poor because we have this many population we have to feed. So help us to get richer, okay? And by helping us getting richer, we promise we're entering agreement. It's called non-alliance movement. If you recall the 1961 non-alliance movement, and developed over the decades to today about still 120 nations as part of the non-alliance movement. And if you're looking at a majority of those countries, these are developing countries, including those in Asia, those in Africa, those in Latin America. Okay, when you think about the Mao's era, nothing very, very much, okay, still this many nations. Okay. But the difference today is right under the nose of the United States and the free world systems in terms of capital, in terms of technology. They say there's no security, no military alliance. We are just, interested in getting rich and feeding our people, making our people's lives better. That's a lie. Yes. Because what they have been secretly and covertly doing under the banner of the non-alliance movement is they are aligning. And yesterday, the military parade, the biggest military parade by far in modern history in China, has changed the game, because I will get down to the weapons a little bit. Okay.
We'll
So
do that after the
the
after the first break, I think, because that's a bigger
for
segment. But
sure.
go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, for sure. So now we see the ASEAN, which I've mentioned a number of times, the Southeast Asia Alliance. Okay, that's a political body that's focusing on regional economic and security and development. And the second one is what you just witnessed from August 29th to September 1st, where Indian Prime Minister Modi attended. It's called Shanghai Cooperation Organization. That is another 10 member organization. Okay. And the third one is BRICS. We talk about the BRICS,
Yes.
which is, yeah, the economic bloc that looking right now, issuing an alternative currency that's going to replace or supplant the United States dollar, right? So we talked all about this before. So now they're officially coming together. One of the intels that we received and released last night on our live show in Chinese, of course, the show was in Chinese language, is to confirm that in the during the SCO summit and those talks and closed door meetings, Putin and Xi, the two dictators, has agreed to enter 100% cooperation and sharing of all weapons technology, And I can emphasize on all and 100%. They're going to enter this agreement. And they have been working together. Don't forget that, because the Ukraine war and the Russian-Ukraine war, now it's the fourth year. Okay,
Yes.
it's more than 3 years now.
And Russia has not backed off, and Russia has not.
No.
There's no ceasefire that you know.
They talk about it.
They've kicked the can down the road. But so here's President Trump's statement. It's not just a tweet on X. He's pretty much saying, okay, when you guys are there conspiring against the United States, not only is it a shout out to Xi Jinping, but it's a shout out to Putin. And I think, this is a time, and we're going to talk about this throughout the show, but this is a time where America has to understand the significance of it. This is going to, we don't want World War III, but at the end of the day, if people don't do what serves their people, the Chinese, the oligarch there, the families that are running China are not taking care of the billions of people or billion people in China. So they are not doing what they have promised to do. And if they'll do that to their own people, why would they care about the United States of America? So but go ahead. Oh, it's that time. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about weapons, which my husband's listening. He'll love that. So, but what you saw in the parade yesterday was a show of force, and it was to demonstrate their capabilities, and to say, this is what we've got, and we're for real. So it's China Watch Wednesday. We're talking to Ava Chen from the new federal state of China. You will not hear this anywhere else, and it's so important. We cannot be blind to what is going on with other world leaders who don't want the best for America. You are listening to 1030 The Voice. I'm Kathleen Winn, and we'll be back right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to China Watch Wednesday with my co host Ava Chen. Ava stayed up and talked for 3 hours last night on I'm going to call it a parade, but it was an event, a military show of power event. I want to remind the listeners that BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And now there's BRICS Plus, and the plus is Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, sorry, Iran, and United Arab Emirates. So UAE. But think about it: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Uh, that was the core that started this. Were all of those countries present yesterday, Ava?
So last night there is 25 national heads gathered. So the honored guest when Xi Jinping walked out of the Tiananmen
Was
Tower,
Putin?
um, he was flanked by Putin and Kim Jong Un.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
it's basically declared to the world and say, hey, I'm the leader of the developing country, okay, and nations. Look who is following behind me. And all those nations, Southeast Asia, membership of ASEAN. And don't forget, although some leaders left, such as Modi left after SCO. He didn't stay until to the military, but Modi uh, has agreed to many of these cooperations. If you look at some of the footage coming out from the summit, Modi and Xi and Putin has demonstrated, fondness of each other. They're laughing, holding hands, hugging. They're getting deals that they can sell to their people. Okay, they're happy, and don't forget, all of them are nuclear power nations, every single one of them, right? Modi and China and Xi Jinping and Putin, and talking about population. Right now, these three dictators are rallying up for the global South. Okay, just look at the puny population and huge. They're just we don't have to talk about all the nations, but we just talk about the one that you just mentioned, the three organizations, ASEAN, BRICS, and the SCO, they're over 60% of the world population. Just these three organizations is already over 60%. But looking their GDP, over 50%. So, so right now, Xi Jinping is basically um, already destroyed the hegemony, which is one superpower in the world. And Xi Jinping, Putin, and Kim Jong Un have successfully established what they've long looking after to establish what's called multipolarity. Okay, so they want to have more powers at an equal footing. And don't forget, Xi Jinping, the CCP had a long-range, strategic, long game kind of a plan. They listed out. They say 2025 made in China, 2035 is co-govern the world, which means Xi Jinping, the communists are looking to set up a co-governance structure with the United States to co-lead the world. And this year, today, they're only 2025, and Xi Jinping has achieved it 10 years earlier. According to Xi's plan and CCP's 100 years marathon plan is 2049, there's not going to be the United States ever existed. That's their original plan. By 2049, they're going to supplant and replace the United States. Okay, from the founding of 1949, the People's Republic of China, which is the CCP today. And ironically, if you look at yesterday's parade, what's the name of the parade? The parade is called September 3rd, Victory Day. Okay, anti-Japanese war parade. But guess who fought Japanese? It's not CCP.
No.
It is the Nationalist Party, Kuomintang Party. Look at how many people died, how many generals died in Kuomintang Party. And matter of fact, this is a historical record. You can go actually last night on live stream. We played a little bit of footage.
Yes.
That is a surrender ceremony that was held in 1949, September 9th. Remember the August the 15th, Japanese surrendered, right? And then September 9th, they had a ceremony with the United States. And then on September 9th, they held another surrender ceremony in Nanjing, in China. And they surrendered to who? They surrendered to Chiang Kai-shek generals. They surrendered to nationalist parties. So what happened after 1945? It's the CCP used the same tactics, subversion, lies, and cheats and propaganda. They actually steal the victory of the Chinese people and nationalist party. And how many, this is a record the Chinese people don't know because the CCP has lied to them, and the world has helped the CCP to lie to the Chinese people. Do you know how many people, how many soldiers of the CCP died from fighting Japanese intrusion in World War II? The 8 years of so-called anti-Japanese war fighting against by the CCP. Do you know how many CCP soldiers died together in the 8 years of fighting Japanese?
Tell me.
You guess. Just have a wild guess. 8 years of fighting. Their propaganda. But reality in museums, a lot of the world museums, especially you go to Japan, you go to England, you go to China, internal documents, CCP internal documentation, no more than 800 CCP soldier.
Only 800?
Died. 800 Japanese soldiers they killed.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, not. They only killed 800 Japanese soldiers in the entire year.
And I don't want to seem cold that it's
fighting.
800, but in wars, you know that it's thousands and thousands of people, right?
Yeah.
What's happening with Russia and Ukraine right now?
Sorry?
I said, look at what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. It's thousands and thousands. It's not, and war is just awful. But I guess what I'm saying is 800. But go to your point, because that was the Japanese that died. How many CCP soldiers died? Or Chinese?
CCP is a very small force. Okay. It's a very, very small force because they say they're guerrilla warfare. So what is guerrilla warfare? They don't even have a full army. That's why they invented the propaganda of lies and a fake plays to say, oh, the CCP had died in tens of thousands. But no, really, they don't. They're guerrilla warfare. They're hiding. And there's maybe just 100 or thousands of the troops, and they hitting and they hide and hitting and hide. And the best thing they do is lying to the people. Okay, that's what they did the best. So they actually killed a lot of the local Chinese civilians, but they pretending. Remember once Miles Guo did a live streaming,
yes,
and basically he told us how the CCP fighting guerrilla warfare. They put in the uniforms of Nationalist Party. And then they kind of elude the entire village and leaving impression that they are the Nationalist Party. Okay, so they cheat the local people into hate the Nationalist Party, but they are the CCP guerrilla warfare soldier. So this is the true color of the CCP. They never really fighting, confronting the Japanese troops that much during the 8 years of so-called anti-Japanese war. Okay, that's why entire the Japanese soldiers that they, slaughtered was only 800, but 300 of them are already disabled, weak, and elderly. Okay, so basically they're not a fighting force at all. But the Nationalist Party, who actually along the American soldiers who actually died and who actually sacrificed their life for bringing freedom to the Chinese people, did not get recognized. But United States knew this, but they didn't talk about it. Do you remember, I think yesterday, Trump tweeted out on Truth Social, and I think Mr. Bannon retweeted it. It's the tweet. It's where President Trump is saying he said the big question to be answered is whether or not President Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United States gave
that's
to China
the tweet that I
to
read
help
at the very
rescue.
beginning of the show. Yes,
That's right.
Yes.
So here there is something people are confused. Actually, the President Trump tweet did not help explain, because he did not separate the Nationalist Party and the Chinese people who really lost their life fighting Japanese, versus today's Xi Jinping represents the CCP who stole from the people and the Nationalist Party. And the United States did not separate that, did not make that clear for the world to see. Go ahead.
What I just wanted to underline that the Chinese people are being persecuted, that the CCP is a different entity that has control of the Chinese people, but the Chinese people are enslaved. And the people that are controlling China, that are doing all the uh, atrocious things around the world behind the scenes, using ploys and other people, um, uh, they are doing it to their people. And the Chinese people are growing restless, but we do have to make the distinction between the people of China and the CCP. They're very different, and they want very different things. And there's no freedom of religion in China. There's no freedoms in China. Only for the oligarch, only for those that are in charge, and that's 10 families. And if you don't do their bidding, then your family disappears or is exiled or imprisoned. And so there are many people that are betrothed to, you know, to the CCP, but they are not. Um, they are not.
Mm-hmm.
They are not representing the Chinese people. They're representing themselves and their own personal wealth. It is very similar to what we just experienced the last 4 years. So, Ava, we've got a hard stop at 9:30. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out into break. But it's so important what we witnessed yesterday. This exceeding power, showing their how powerful they are. Um, and although they have that many citizens, those citizens don't want to continue the path of Xi Jinping. Um, Much like the Russian people don't want to do what Vladimir Putin's doing. So you are listening to China Watch Wednesday with my co-host Ava Chen from the new federal state of China. I am Kathleen Winn on 1030 The Voice, your trusted local news and talk. We'll be back right after this. We have so much more to talk about. Stay with us. Welcome back to China Watch Wednesday. And there was a big show of China's military yesterday in China with all kinds of people attending. And interesting enough, Ava, my computer won't let me go into anything, which is I've never had happen. Um, so they've been unveiling advanced weapons, and they're calling it the Victory Day Parade. Uh, and I am my co-host Ava Chen from the New Federal State of China. Um, what was Xi Jinping um, and Kim Jong Un and Putin being seen together yesterday? What was that besides all the military and everything that was going on? What were they saying to the world?
Uh, the world is no longer safe, basically. So if you're looking at what the weapons, because we can talk about the weapons that they paraded
Yes, please.
last night, and they have been at the just finished SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, where many member states, the prime minister and head of the states gathered and signing deals. Many of the deals, there's so many of them, but one of the deals you have to pay attention, although this is not publicly announced, but this signals weapons proliferation. And we're talking about not just kinetic war, traditional kinetic conventional war weapons. We're talking about AI driven drones, unmanned machines, whether it's flying on the land or under the sea. We're talking about bioweapons. We're talking about pulse interference machines, which can be deployed in the space force. And this is a fifth generation fighter jets. You know, we're talking about weapons that the CCP has now probably, if not leading the world, very, very close at par or on par with the United States. And this is dangerous because if you're looking at who is rally behind Xi Jinping and those dictators, these are the countries that not necessarily love America. On contrary, they are anti-America. Okay, so when those massive weapons of massive destruction are going to be proliferated, which we're already seeing on the in the Kashmir war between the border of Pakistan and India. You know, the Chinese fighter jets on the Pakistani side, military has shot down 3 French Rafale fighter jets. They have already demonstrated the world these weapons works and they're cheap. They works, they're cheap, they're as good as the United States. You know what? This is the last market that United States is going to hand on. Very, very sadly, okay, in the past 4 decades, the CCP under the covert stealth non-alliance agreement, they had done all those alliance secretly through the Belt and Road Initiative, through the BRICS. You know, they told the world, say, hey, we're just doing economic development, but they are already established military connections and military bases. They have linked air, land, and sea. And guess what? Why they doing that? Because they want to deter United States, say, back off. Don't mess up with me when I want to take Taiwan. If you do mess up with me,
Well,
you're going to be hurt.
Don't you think Taiwan is the next place? This is all about Taiwan. It's all about the
Absolutely.
chips. It's all about Nivea.
It's not all about Taiwan. A lot of people thinking Americans say, hey, why do we want to protect Taiwan? Let Taiwan go because let's focus on American first. That's wrong.
It
And I
is
can
wrong.
tell you why
No, go ahead,
America
please.
needs to, and why every single American needs to understand why Taiwan is important. If Taiwan is taken, American stock market is going to be crushed. You will have never seen a depression, economic depression coming back, go to the 1930s. Great Depression. And
Explain
there's a lot of
explain
people,
why, Ava. Explain why. Because people understand, they hear chips, they hear AI, they hear all this stuff, but they don't understand the manufacturing source. They don't understand the economic um, uh, impact that has. So please explain it, unpack that for the listeners.
yeah, because all your big companies, your $1 trillion stock market, Nvidia, Apple, Meta, you name it, all those companies, They need Taiwan. They need chips. 90% of the high end of world advanced chips are made in Taiwan.
Yes.
Okay, that's a fact. And the market going to come down. The stock is going to go crush. And the
If we
CCP is
don't protect
prepared. They're
Taiwan,
waiting
if
for
we
that.
don't protect Taiwan, and China wants nothing more than to destroy Taiwan. Yes.
Taiwan is just the first step, yeah, to take
I mean, but it
over
is
America.
exactly, exactly. But if we don't, but that's why the significance of protecting Taiwan. It's critical that we do
And
that.
and Xi Jinping is already taken over, let's say, Pakistan. Okay, India now is already behind Xi.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
and we're talking about Korean, South Korean used to be ally of the United States, but after the new president, poof, you put 100% communists at the top. What do you think would have come after? Xi Jinping has already controlled South Korea. We don't have to mention North Korea. So who do you have in Japan? Sorry, who do you have in South Pacific? Only Japan left. But Japan right now is threatened by the CCP with the military parade. So
Right.
Taiwan, if they take Taiwan, that means they already taken Japan. Okay, because Japan would have come in blocking China, the CCP taking over Taiwan, because they know if they don't have Taiwan, they're the next. So Asia Pacific is going to completely gone. Then you don't have anything. You retreat back to where, the Western Hemisphere. But look, your home backyard, Latin America, South America, you're still dealing with the cartel issue. You're still dealing with Mexico.
Yeah, the
Do you know how
cartel
many
issue. We have secured
Mexico?
the border, but this cartel issue is
Yeah,
still a present
but
danger. It has not been eradicated. It is why you
and
have
who's behind?
yes,
CCP. Again, they're weapons. They can help those criminals and they can help those terrorists and in an unprecedented way. And the money laundering, helping those. So they're attacking. All of them are aiming at the United States. So if you don't help Taiwan, this is what's going to happen. United States, we don't have to wait until 2049 because right now, not just the CCP are coming after you. It's the whole pack, the wolf pack, Putin, North Korea, India, SCO, BRICS, and they're going to, if they come, the economic pacts all come together and also have a military pacts come together, they're sharing the technologies. And by the way, I have to mention this repeatedly. All
yes.
those weapons technologies obtained from the United States
Yeah,
with
they
the
stole.
help
Yeah,
of
they've stole.
United
Yep.
Americans.
Yep. They stole. They
Go ahead.
stole intellectual property. They put people into jobs. They've gotten people to, and not everyone. We catch some, but we haven't caught everybody that sells uh, highly classified information and.
Mhm.
Or they shoot stuff down and then they reverse engineer it. So never mind all the land that the Chinese owns around our military bases. So I think we have to undo and get ahead of all the damage that's been done. And Miles Guo warned us of this many years
Mhm.
ago. This is not new. He told us we would be here right now, and
That's right.
we have to pay attention to that. And my
And
hope is that he
unfor-
gets go ahead.
unfortunately, Miles Guo has started whistleblowing in 2017, and he shared so much with the United States. And it was a really fantastic windows of opportunity for the United States to strike back and eliminate the CCP in the Trump's first term. Even in the first year of 2021, United States still have opportunities to basically preventing the CCP and Putin get to where they are today. But they didn't. Okay, the reason why I said that is because 2020, because of the release of the virus, they hurt the world. The CCP hurt the world, but they also hurt their own economy. And people's resentment and dissent was surging. So that's the best window of time to take down the regime. And the Americans actually can by focusing only on the 5 and 10 families. That's it. You
Hmm.
don't have to take the entire China as your enemy because you're not going to erase 1.4 billion people on the world without hurting yourself. We don't want to go to a kinetic war. We want to peacefully resolve this. China is going to be there, and we have 5,000 years of history, And majority of Laobaixins are peaceful, loving, and they're pro-United States. They love America. That's why they come here. We don't want the CCP, but very unfortunately, you ignored all the warnings, all the intels Milesco gave to America. These are valuable insights down to details in terms of which general you should actually approach. They will help America, but American did not listen. And then poof, the 4 years of Biden, you completely lost the window of opportunity, made America much weaker. So I actually just shared a tweet. The tweet was put it out by Elon Musk
Elon Musk, I
this
saw
year.
that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
April 26th, right? So
Yeah.
that tweet, I don't know whether you can put up for the people on YouTube because I know you streamlining on
Yeah.
YouTube as well.
Yeah.
That tweet is an Elon Musk repost and respond to a tweet that sent out by Laura Luma.
Right.
And Laura Luma, in her tweet, was talking about the F-35
Fiasco.
fiasco, right?
Lockheed
Yeah.
Martin
She talked
and
about
the woke agenda and the
exactly.
betrayal of the American taxpayer. Yes.
Correct. She was talking about how much money was invested in this, machine and not deliver. Then Elon Musk simply replied in one sentence, and he said, "Crewed aircraft will be destroyed instantly by cheap drone swarms." Guess what? What did the CCP show last night during the parade? Pretty much, the focus is unmanned aircraft, unmanned submarine, unmanned land weapons. These are all unmanned. And Miles go ahead shared, intel with the United States long before. He told you that CCP is the only regime in the entire world that spent 24/7 focusing on studying American weapons. They are planning to win small against big, weak against strong. So they working smartly and intelligently study your weakness,
Right.
study the vulnerability of each weapon. So that's why they discovered the unmanned vehicle in a large quantity, just exactly as what Mr. Musk put it in a very succinct way that they're going to destroy the F-35 with the swarm drones because
Well,
many of them are suicidal. They don't have to be precision. They just have to be overwhelm you like 100 times more than you, and they're cheap.
and I do know, just I do know a little bit about this, and I'm not the engineer in my family, definitely not. But
Mm-hmm.
what I will say is there are ways to interfere with the drones. So this can happen. This could happen. The drones aren't all powerful. There's a way to scramble their thing. But if we're to the point
Mm-hmm.
where China is attacking F-35s, we've gone way too far anyway. Ava, we have to take a quick break. I'm so sorry they come so
Mm-hmm.
quickly. I love this conversation. This is China Watch Wednesday. We're talking to Ava Chen from the new federal state of China and China's weaponry. And they haven't declared war, but they're certainly letting us know that they are trying to be the most powerful nation in the world. You are listening to me, Kathleen Winn, on Winn Tucson on 1030 The Voice, your trusted local news and talk. We'll be back right after this brief commercial break. Stay with us. Welcome back to China Watch Wednesday with my co host Ava Chen from the new federal state of China, um, a group, an organization founded by Stephen K. Bannon and Miles Guo to make America aware of the corruption, of the destruction of the United States of America by the CCP. Not the Chinese people, but the CCP. We will continue to underline that and make people clear that a small group of corrupt leaders have sold out their nation, and their whole purpose and goal is to destroy the United States of America. And COVID was a warning shot, and they wanted to see what we did and how we reacted. And thank God they did it under Trump, even though he didn't get reelected. There's a question about that as the DOJ continues to find things that are happening. So we tend to fight things legally, but we also have a strong military, and our military is going to, I believe, be called uh, to defend our nation, to defend our freedom. Uh, the CCP and those 9/11 was a perfect example. Was they find things in our nation that they can mock and make fun of. Our 250th anniversary of this nation, our Constitution, our freedoms. Uh, there is nothing more vile to those that believe in communism, socialism, Marxism, and those three leaders that are together that are plotting, as Donald Trump said, against the United States of America. Beware. Donald Trump knows. Our military knows. And so, what we do right now in this moment in time is going to matter more than anything else, more than any election, more than anything. We have to become a united nation, not the United Nations, but a united country to fight against our enemies. Ava, please go ahead with what you see with the weaponry and everything else. I just wanted to lay that down for the people. Go ahead.
So the CCP is very smart. They weaponized everything. Because when we talk about war, the Western countries, nations, they automatically think about kinetic. But really, when you talk about war, they talk about all fronts of wars. So they fundamentally change how modern warfare is basically fought out. And when I mentioned about F-35 versus the drones, right? The Swan drone, the suicide drones, and cheap and, the weapons. But think about this. In each F-35 you need 400 kilograms or 900 pounds of rare earth. So where do you get rare earth?
Well, we used to get it here in our country, but now we don't. So you tell me.
Okay. So this is what I'm saying. A war is fighting doesn't necessarily need to be go kinetic. Okay. It can be economic, right? Here we see supply chain warfare, weaponize the Chinese market, weaponize the supply chain. They are basically control and weaponizing energy, weaponizing currency, weaponizing everything, manipulation of currency, you name it. So weaponizing your legal system, judicial system, using the infiltrated and spies or proxies to get the job done. They're hurting America top to bottom every single day. But Americans are slow catching. So this is why I think, don't get me wrong, CCP Xi Jinping is very fearful for fear for Trump and Stephen Bannon. These are, as I mentioned in the show, the five people that Xi Jinping and the CCP system, the top people in the CCP are most afraid of are Trump, Stephen Bannon, Peter Navarro, Rudy Giuliani, and these folks, because they know the truth, right? But the tweet that I want to go back to is the Trump tweet, and the White House put it on. It's called President Xi of China, the tweet that you read, the first half.
Yes.
But the second half, the first half we talk about that that they didn't really separating the lies that the CCP made from what really happened historically. Who is fighting the World War II? It's not It's not the CCP, which CCP did not establish the PRC until 1949, yes. But the war has been won by the Chiang Kai-shek the Republic of China, right? Chiang
Yes.
Kai-shek Party. So they did not differentiate. But the second part, I have to say, I'm a little bit disappointing. The reason why they're still the American people and American leader in their mind, they have not separate the Chinese people and the CCP, the head of the CCP, Xi Jinping. This is the second part of the tweet goes. So this is a Trump tweet I'm talking about.
Okay.
He said, I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give me warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong Un as you conspire against the United States of America. Okay, so that's great tweet because Trump putting Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong Un and Xi Jinping on notice.
Yes.
But here he still mixed up President Xi and the wonderful people of China. So I can tell you the Chinese people are fed up with the Chinese Communist Party. Okay, if you understand the ordinary Chinese people's life, you would understand why we hate the Chinese Communist Party. If you separate the Chinese people with the party leader, Xi. By the way, Xi is not a president. She never get elected.
Right.
Yes, he's a dictator. He's a self-imposing, okay, and a dictator. So you can address him. We address him party leader or secretary party leader of the Chinese Communist Party, but we don't refer him as President Xi because president imply his legitimacy, which we believe he's not legitimate. He's never elected. So that is why I think when you talk about China, you ought to separate the CCP and the Chinese people. And matter of fact, the Chinese people are the best ally of America. I'm really hoping one day on the White House, President Trump tweet and strictly talking to the Chinese people who today still hijacked by the Chinese Communist Party, no more than 5 to 10 kleptocracy families. These are the true owners and controllers of the nation. They are controlling Chinese people's ingenuity, their innovations, their wisdom, and their intelligence. And they turning that. They take advantage of their innovations and use it to hurt the free world while lying to the Chinese people using propaganda. Did you see that? They're actually the enemy of the free world, the enemy of the Chinese people. And don't forget, the people who killed most of the Chinese are Mao Zedong, and the second is Xi Jinping by pandemic, by releasing the COVID-19 pandemic, by having launched the draconian lockdown of the COVID-19 measurement. These two dictators killed the most Chinese people.
And you look I just want to say, you look at what Putin is doing. He's killing, many of his own people. Unfortunately, this is a thing with dictators. They don't value life. They don't value the lives of their citizens. They are all about themselves and enriching themselves, and they don't care about human life. They don't care about anybody but themselves and their power, their perceived power. Mm-hmm. But go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just want to say, I really wish one day I wake up and I went to the White House website and they say, we're talking to strictly to Chinese people. We understand how you live, how you wanted to overthrow.
Yes.
And then the White House, it's America. We don't need you to fight this war, okay? The Chinese people will take down the CCP, but please do not give money to the Chinese Communist Party. And you have to admit, the reason why Chinese Communist Party become today the number one enemy of the free world is because the Americans' technology and Americans' money propped them up. It is you that has helping them. So they now coming, threatening you, not only abroad, but on your soil. Okay, they infiltrated the society, American society. So we need the vast majority of Americans to understand, if you want to win this, you have to ally. You have to take the Chinese people as your friends, as your ally, because who is basically a hijacked and not knowingly helping the CCP? It's the Chinese people, and they're smart. You cannot kill all of them.
No.
Right? If you only eliminate the 5 to 10 families on the top, We have a new China. The
Ava,
Chinese people were embracing
can you stay
American
over a little
culture.
bit? We have to go to break.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ava
Absolutely.
Chen, I love it. We're going to have an extended version of China Watch Wednesday because there's so much going on. This is a day of reckoning. You are listening to China Watch Wednesday with Ava Chen, the new federal state of China. I'm Kathleen Winn, and this is 1030 The Voice, a Boostus media station, your trusted local news and talk. We'll be back right after this news break. Stay with us. And welcome back to Winn Tucson and our extended version of China Watch Wednesday. There's so much going on in the world when you have world dictators getting together to show off their toys, toys that they want to use against the United States of America. We have more to talk about than we normally do. But I need
Mm.
people to understand, and I'm joined by Ava Chen from the new federal state of China. Ava does such a great job, and she is so passionate about the Chinese people. She's from China originally. She knows the oppression. She escaped. Um, but so many people have family and friends that are under this dictatorship, and uh, they really want world domination. They want to be able to take over the world, um, and they have no regard for the lives, for our freedoms, for our Constitution, for our country. They mock us, and they do not want us to have our sovereignty. They want to come in. They want to take this nation, and they want to take it away from us. And they're conspiring, actually, very openly. Um, so when we talk about good versus evil, and they definitely don't want us to have our God. So, Ava, continue where you were. I just wanted to set the table like that. So go ahead, please.
And they is the CCP. It's not the Chinese people. Because
Yes.
never you will find, before the Chinese Communist Party took over from the Nationalist Party, you will find that Chinese people are the most hardworking and peaceful and very loving and caring people. So, and we have peacefully, lived with neighbors for thousands and thousands of years. And this is what the Chinese people truly want. We want a peace with the Western world. We want to participating, with breakthrough scientific research. We want to bring good to the humanity together. We want to enjoy life, and this is what the Chinese people want. But right now, this evil ideology, came in from Marxism and Leninism from
Marxism and Lenin. Yes. Yes.
yeah, exactly. They're coming from the USSR, Soviet Union, and took over with the support of international communists after 1945. They basically hijacked and took China in hostage and started cheating and lying to the Western world, and then up to today. And the Chinese people had enough. That's why we say, if America would be able to decouple with the CCP economically and technologically, it's so important. Okay, if your money doesn't ever flow to the CCP, and if your technology stop sharing technology with the Chinese Communist Party, we will take down the Chinese Communist Party because we have a lot of people, and we're the masses, we're the populace, and the 5 and 10 families are we're way outnumbered. So, but because they have technology to control, they control every act, behavior, even thought of the every everyday people. So otherwise, they put people in jail. They have the cameras. They watching you 24/7. Every single app and hardware, there's backdoor. People are being watching. So it's like 1984 in China right now. That's why it's so hard for us to get together. We have to do it secretly, which we had been successful. Recall like earlier late last year, there is the Zhengzhou University students
Right.
night right. It was 200,000 people rallied, and they riding bikes to another city, and that's exactly had the new federal state of China backing them. We have fellow fighters, we have people who supporting us, who are working inside the Chinese Communist Party system are helping us. And today we have a lot of those people inside China. We're ready to take down the Chinese Communist Party when time is right.
Yeah.
But
But you
America
can't do it and
still
lose
pumping.
thousands of people. You have to do it when there is vulnerabilities that are exposed.
Exactly.
Let's
Exactly.
one of those vulnerabilities right now is the economy. They can show this. This is a big demonstration. I who knows how many millions, possibly billions of dollars went into yesterday's event. Correct.
Yeah, lots of money.
Lots of money, and but their economy is not strong. And at some point, you know, and I think you and I had a discussion yesterday off the air about you know, them diversifying so that, you know, they're only um, importing from the U.S. now, what, 13% you said, which was a lot less, or exporting? And I forgot, I think you said importing, correct?
Yeah, they're no longer relying on the United States because I think yesterday President Trump was saying, people was asking, are you concerned? You know, the Kim Jong Un and Putin a challenge, and he said nope. And he mentioned about something. He's a very good friend with President Xi, and and Trump said China needs us more than we need them. Um, Maybe in a sense, in terms of technology, yes, they need chips, right? They need
Yes.
NVIDIA. They need those things to power the AI kind of a based economy. Um, however, however, if you look at Xi Jinping very strategically, Xi Jinping before the CCP, the dictator wants to take over the world, he first um, beefed up his own back supply chain, you know, wartime supply chain. So you need food, you need gas and oil, right? These are the two things you need the most. And then he's already got covered. He has Brazil to give the grain and food, and then he has Russia. And these two countries will be able to satisfy CCP's needs for grain. And it's actually America wanted the CCP to continue purchasing your soybean. Remember, we talk about the soybean. The CCP has not been buying your soybean. That's why the soybean farmers are saying, "Hey, Trump, we need China to buy the soybeans. Your
Soybeans,
tariff
yes.
didn't help us, right?" So it is the United States needs the CCP that buying your soybeans. And talk about now. Let's move on to energy. So CCP has long secured energy, especially oil and natural gases. So Angola, uh, Africa, right? Um, 18%, now down to 13%, CCP imports from Angola. And then second is the Middle East, Iran, Saudi, Qatar. You know, they're all basically export oils to Chinese Communist Party, China, and also the last the last nation is Russia. So uh, during the wartime, during the 2 years of Ukraine war, 3 years of Ukraine war, the CCP has purchased over 220, close to 220 billion oil from Russia. So they've already got covered, and plus they have now moving down to Eurasia, right? Those Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, you know, these countries, Azerbaijan, these are East Eurasia countries. They move over there. They have minerals covered. They have rare earths. They control 99% of the 90% of rare earths. They basically dominate everything, everything the free world needs. And if you look at the United Nations, how many voting nations there? 190, around 190 nations. Every time you vote some agenda item, who is sides with the Chinese Communist Party? Majority of those non-aligned movement nations are
Yes.
siding with
With,
Chinese Communist Party and
right.
more. If
Yes.
you look at the
The
resolutions on
United
Palestine,
Nations needs to go
Palestine,
away, though, Ava. I'm sorry.
yeah,
They really are. They're a rogue organization at this point, and they're not doing
absolutely.
anything to benefit the United States. And we fund way more into that than we need to. And it's just and they're not in our best interest. They're
Yeah.
literally, the people of the United Nations are not trying to help the United States at all, ever,
Mhm.
lately.
Yeah, the
Or
best way really is to tear the CCP's lie. American, they're holding a lot of lies of the CCP, but they didn't say aloud. They cover it actually for CCP. You know, American knew who fought the anti-Japanese war. They knew because they
it was
participated, they
America.
supported the national, exactly. But now the CCP falsely using the fabricated history to brainwash the Chinese people, okay, using the prey to project the power internally. I can tell you, majority, Xi Jinping planned the September 3rd parade has two meanings. And majority of the meanings are for internal consumption. The audiences he's targeting are internal people. These are the cadres and military leaders of the Chinese Communist Party. He's sending a message to them because the Mao has a very famous saying. He say, politic, political power comes out of a barrel of a gun. Okay, so that's
Mm,
exactly what Xi Jinping is trying to say to the subordinates who, the lower cadres in Chinese Communist Party, particularly in the military. He's saying, hey, I can kill you. I can purge you. I have the power. So he's sending warning to them. Okay. So 80% of the message are sending to the internal audience and 20% are sending to Japan and America. But why are they picking September 3rd? Historically, this is only the second time Xi Jinping picked September 3rd, which is a so-called anti-fascism, anti-Japanese war victory remembrance as the parade day. Exactly sending the message to Japan. He's picking on Japan because he knows who back up Japan. That's the United States.
right.
That is
No,
why
it's a
he's
it's a it's
lying into the
another
free world.
covert backhanded slap to the United States. And Donald
Exactly.
Trump's tweet was appropriate. It was exactly appropriate. Ava, we got to take a quick break. Can I get you just to stay till 10:30 and then I'll let you go? Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, wonderful. Uh, I love this conversation. We are talking to Ava Chen from the new federal state of China. Um, Miles Guo let us know many, many years ago that where we are right now is where we were going to be. We need to understand the difference between the CCP and the Chinese people. They do not want the same thing, and we need to be poised to help the Chinese people. Uh, you are listening to China Watch Wednesday on 1030 The Voice, your trusted local news and talk. I'm Kathleen Winn. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us. So much more to come. Thank you. Welcome back to China Watch Wednesday with Ava Chen, the new federal state of China, founded by Steve Bannon, Miles Guo, to make America aware of our enemies, foreign and domestic. And unfortunately, it takes people in this country selling out the secrets, selling out access, uh, compromising our safety and our security. And the CCP has leveraged that, has taken advantage of that, has enabled their country by the greed and corruption of people in our country. And we need to undo the damage, and we need to do it now, or we won't have a country. And what a terrible, terrible thing that would be if a nation such as ours lost all its freedoms. And we cannot overstate this. And we're not being dramatic or hysterical. We're being factual. And it's important to understand who the world leaders are, what their commitment is. And their commitment, for the most part, the people meeting in China right now, is to destroy the United States of America. This isn't about anything else. This isn't about Donald Trump or Joe Biden. This is about destroying a nation. Donald Trump's just the guy in the seat right now. But I'm going to tell you, I don't think we could have a better person. He understands it, he knows what needs to be done, and he will fight to win. So, Ava, we have a few minutes left.
Mhm.
So, go ahead and take us and finish us out for today. Great conversation. Thank you.
Mhm. So we wanted to avoid kinetic war
Yes.
because these are nuclear powers, and even talking of bioweapons, it's already killed so many million people in America. Over 1 million people died, and a lot of people thinking World War III has not started yet, but no, we have been in the World War III for at least 4 or 5 years already. It's just you didn't see what kind of war is that. Now it's going to be escalating from this point on because the alliance, the anti-America alliance, has already officially formed. They're today stronger and more belligerent and more confident. From those synchronized steps, from those poise of confidence of the parade of the soldiers, you already see these are brainwashed the Chinese people. Okay, these are people that are under the lies of the Chinese Communist Party. But thank God, we already knew a lot more Chinese people has waken up because the new federal state of China's truth. We told them the history, what happened in the history, and what will happen. And we want a peace with the Western world, particularly with the United States. So we're inviting United States to look at your strategy, how you're going to challenge the CCP is taking us, the people, into your equation because we can help you from the enemy line from behind by you just not helping the CCP, by you helping the Chinese people to take down the digital firewall that's still, as of today, blocking the truth. And that's why the CCP using September 3rd, the anti-Japanese war, to stir up the nationalism. Because right before the September 3rd parade, for a month and a half, they launched 4 new movies. And these movies are one thing, which is anti-Japanese, which is World War II war movies, and they are completely fabricated. And they mandate every Chinese people, especially your Chinese Communist Party member, to watch the movies. Okay, they mandate people to watch the movies, and these are brainwashed. It's exactly just like in Nazi Germany. When Nazi Germany did, their rallies in
Yes.
Nuremberg rallies, they're focusing on propaganda. They made Triumph of Will, the movies, to basically lie to the German people and sold them a nightmare. And German people all agreed. Yeah, we are the best and most capable people in the world. We need to dominate and conquer the rest of the world. So that's exactly what Xi Jinping attempted to do: is to turn the Chinese people against you. And this is exactly, you don't want to fall in the trap. So don't turn the Chinese people against the free world. We don't want it to be your enemy. We want it to take down the CCP. So don't believe Xi Jinping's propaganda. They're nothing but lies. So I really urge Trump and his administration, his cabinet, to think about it, how you can separate Xi Jinping and his inner circles, no more than 5 or 10 kleptocracy families from the Chinese people, and we will be your best ally, and we will
Alan,
be your
yes.
best soldier to fighting against this challenge of humanity, this evil regime of humanity.
Well, I think you said that so well, and I like your uh, vision, if you will, of Chinese people standing with President Trump at the White House, um, and restoring order to that nation. Uh, do you believe that you can see that in your lifetime, Ava?
Absolutely. 3 miles long. And we have more than 600 million Chinese supporting us and secretly supporting us. Okay, they can't voice their support openly because they will be
No,
executed
we
right
understand
away.
what'll
We're
happen to them if
waiting for
they,
that
yeah,
moment.
yeah. You guys don't have
Our
freedom of
leaders
speech.
jailed
Well,
in the
and
United States.
as we talked about just, I think last week or the week before, the CCP is monitoring every single communication of its citizenry. And if anyone steps out of line or does anything, either they or their family are tortured or imprisoned. Or this is not a free nation. Um, and we don't want that here because that's all they would do to us. They would take our wealth, they would distribute it amongst a small few people. They've already demonstrated what they would do if they're in charge. They're doing it in China. We don't need them to do it here. We don't need them to do it in Taiwan or Japan or Israel. All these places where, in Russia and Ukraine, that is going to come to a head very quickly. And the question is, does China jump in to help Russia? I think that, that's what you have to watch. And North Korea. And to your point about, do we want to have war? I hope not. I hope we can do this strategically. But I think that it is so important that we watch the signs and understand the politics and the choices that we're making as a nation. And and we didn't get to it today, and we'll talk about it next week. But the 600,000 Chinese students, they're not all bad, but some of our universities wouldn't exist without that. So, is that the safest move right now when you have a nation that is trying to declare war on us to bring so many uh, Chinese students here? It might be if they are not under the thumb of the CCP, but how do you vet for that? And I think maybe that's where we go next week when you come back.
That's right, exactly. Targeting the top. And if you watch the series of the Game of Thrones, you
Mm.
know the Night King.
Yes.
At the end, at the most dangerous scene, you're facing about tens of thousands of Walking Dead, soldiers attacking you. All you have to go is to go to the Night King, and then everything else is gone. So that's exactly how you solve this crisis without going to World War III, without going to turning into the war for all the people living on planet Earth, is to take down the head of that evil, which right now is a Xi Jinping and his inner circle, only few families. That's it. Let's focusing on that.
100%. And again, we've come to the end of our time. I am so grateful. Thank you for speaking for 3 hours last night in Chinese to people that could watch and be informed about what was really going on and your commitment to the Chinese people, to Miles Guo, to the new federal state of China. And we are grateful every week to do China Watch Wednesday with you, Ava Chen. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
See you next week.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Okay, when we get back, Betsy Brantner Smith, because Tucson's made national news, and it's not for a good thing. I know that's a surprise. So stay with me. Here, I'm Kathleen Winn on Winn Tucson on 1030 The Voice, the best place to be Monday through Friday, 9 to 11. And we'll be back right after this. I'm not going anywhere, so you don't either.